Hey everyone, and welcome back to Black Spring with Autumn. I hope you're having a great weekend. Now, it looks like over the course of time we are piling on from our Democrat Party. It looks like they're piling on their 2016 playbook, and we'll take a look at the first segment, which involves our first player in this element of this pylon from the 2016 playbook. Now, if you don't remember, the 2016 campaign trail that consisted of course, Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State. She was highly favored by the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, and at the time, Debbie Wasserman Schultz served as the DNC chair. Well, however, in a scope from Iowa caucuses to Arizona, there was a bit of disenfranchising of voters or votes and uncounted votes. In fact, questions leaked to Hillary Clinton by CNN's Donna Brazile. And prior to that, the DNC chairwoman, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, actually ended up stepping down during that particular time. So, before we have a few words from her, this is the typical leftist kind of culture that I identified back in 2016 that came from not only the Clinton campaign and their ideology. So, if you don't mind, we will start right there with our first segment.
We turn now to that new documentary, Hillary Clinton Unplugged and Unleashing, tonight on so many topics, including her former rival, Senator Bernie Sanders, saying, quote, nobody likes him, nobody wants to work with him, and refusing to say whether she'll endorse him if he's the 2020 nominee. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
Tonight, Hillary Clinton Unplugged and Unleashing. In a new documentary, she opens up about it all, including Bernie Sanders. A quote from the film in a Hollywood Reporter article, Clinton saying he was in Congress for years. He had one senator support him. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done. Clinton and the filmmaker both spoke to the magazine about the new documentary, exploring it all. The reporter asking if Clinton stands by what she said about Sanders. She said yes. Sanders off the campaign trail for the impeachment trial, responding today.
On a good day, my wife likes me, so let's clear the air on that one. Secretary Clinton is entitled to her point of view. My job today is to focus on the impeachment trial.
Why do you think the secretary is still talking about 2016?
That is a good question. Ask him.
Clinton's comments come just a week after Sanders faced off with Elizabeth Warren over her claim Sanders told her a woman could not win in 2020.
I think you called me a liar on national TV. I think you called me a liar on national TV.
Clinton was asked about that too, saying, it's part of a pattern. If it were a one-off, you might say, okay, fine. But he said I was unqualified. I had a lot more experience than he did and got a lot more done than he had. But that was his attack on me.
Of course, so many of the candidates for president are right here in Washington for the impeachment trial. Others remain in Iowa, and that's where Eva Pilgrim is tonight. And Eva, Hillary Clinton was also asked if she would endorse Bernie Sanders if he gets the nomination, and she was unwilling to offer support, at least for now.
That's right, David. Clinton saying, quote, I'm not going to go there yet. We're still in a very vigorous primary season, adding that she finds the culture of his campaign and the attacks, particularly against women, to be worrisome. Late today, a spokesperson for Clinton saying she will support whoever the nominee is. David.
Eva Pilgrim in Iowa tonight. Eva, thank you.
Okay. So there you go, folks. You have basically Hillary Clinton doing what she has done previously. If you tuned into that very active and very entertaining 2016, you can start to see some of the same types of attacks and some of the same, of course, the same, bitterness is still there. However, I'd like to take you to our second segment, which would include the former President Barack Obama. Now, Here we have, it's a bit of, here again, it's more the culture of the left. The party seems to have, the party is, if this doesn't show anything else, it shows that there's such a huge division in the Democrat Party. You have extreme socialism or radical ideas, and you have a culture that wants to purport a moderate appeal to voters, and then you have a radical socialist view coming from the likes of an AOC. So here we have the former president, of course, Barack Obama, pictured here, as well as the purportedly or presumably on some level the frontrunner Bernie Sanders. But I would like to also take you to another segment, a bit of an article in which we can explore what the second segment, what the second attack would entail. Now, the second attack looks like it's going to come from the former President Barack Obama, though this article again comes from our TNA, which I believe it's one of our most trusted sources for Black Spring with Autumn. So if you will go here with me, you can see that sinking Sanders, Obama, concerned about electability and may publicly bust Bernie. Now, this is written by Selwyn Duke. Now, I just like to give you a little bit of foreground information. Now, also, if you don't remember, last fall, Obama inserted his cancel culture ideology as well as his too far left speech, which basically it could be viewed by many as, play your cards close to the vest, Democrats, as we had an array of candidates with far left and socialist ideas in everything from the Green New Deal feature to free college, free health care, open borders, free health care for illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. We had, and keep all of that close to the vest is what many might derive from that particular speech until you get in office. Hold your horses. Nobody wants to hear that. Americans don't want to hear that, as I'm paraphrasing. But it was also later echoed by the Joy Behar from The View. She, like many of the Hollywood deletes, she seems to think that she's some type of fourth arm of government. However, I mean, this is just another example of the bit of cannibalism that's within that particular party, and it's very much a split. I might even say there might even be a three-way kind of party representation that's going on, featuring the squad, anybody that wants to claim that Biden represents moderates, and of course radicals. I mean, of course, another level of socialism, which I think would be, or worse, is, I paraphrase the president, the communist Elizabeth Warren. So in that particular article, you can go on for yourself to see that just some of the quotes. He's basically doubling down on what he mentioned in 2019, that he has concern. It says, here, as for Obama, the bus plan by Fox Business reports that, quote, people who spoke on the condition of anonymity say Obama's preference had always been to lie through the primaries, aside from making some broad comments, as he did in November of last year, when, according to a report in the New York Times, the former two-term president, best known for expanding the size of government and his eponymous health care mandate, appeared genuinely worried about some of the increasingly leftist proposals being touted on the campaign trail from Sanders, the U.S. Senator from Vermont, and to some extent Elizabeth Warren, the U.S. Senator of Massachusetts. Quote, the average American doesn't think we have to completely tear down the system to remake it, the Times said, quoting Obama, who was speaking at a gathering of Democrat donors. Of course, I'll give you another paraphrase here on another quote. You can read this, of course, for yourself, but among his concerns are Sanders' strident form of politics, confrontational manners, where he's known to not to seek compromise during his long years in the U.S. Senate. Fox further relates, quote, meanwhile, Obama is said to worry that Sanders' far-left policies, which include massive tax increases, free college tuition, and massive student debt forgiveness, would alienate even traditional Democrat voters. And then, we can go on from there to tag out this particular segment. Thus, is Obama considering an intervention, either via direct statement or indirect suasion, unless Sanders' momentum stalls? Moreover, former Obama rival Hillary Clinton has joined the Bernie bash. Quote, he was in Congress for years. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done. End quote. She said in a recent Hollywood Reporter interview. Quote, he was a career politician. It's all baloney, and I feel bad, so bad, that people got sucked into it. So, here it is. You can see the lines basically being kind of drawn here. The battle lines being basically drawn here again for Sanders. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. However, let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a case of more cannibalism from the DNC that's going to lead to their choice of 2020 candidate nominee for the presidential election? Or is it going to be just a two-time fate to eliminate Sanders like the 2016? Please let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be happy to, of course, to hear your comments, your concerns, and things that you would like to see as we go forward. But I'd also like to thank you again for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn, and we'll see you next time.